back to you ain't even know me. Fresh my what is from way back from the north.
So Carl, I'm Bob and I'm with Link4, and I'm going to show you today how to take your old classic greenhouse controller and bring it into the 21st century. We're going to be able to use all your interface devices that you already have, going out to all your same equipment. Your outputs, as you can see right now, output 1 is over here, and output 12 is over here. When we're done, this will be output 1 through 12 just as it was. So if output 1 was your horizontal airflow fans, output 1 will still be your horizontal airflow fans. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take this Envirostep, which has been around for years and was a workhorse for Wadsworth, but we're going to bring it into the 21st century and we're going to put in a Link4 Pearl. The Link4 Pearl is a modular controller. It's going to fit in this same space. You're going to be able to see the display through the window. And you're going to have your 12 outputs, which they had, plus you're going to have 4 additional analog outputs. So if you wanted to do variable speed fans or mixed heat valves, something like that, you would have the ability to do that. Any questions for me yet?
No questions.
Okay, do you mind if I take your controller out?
Please.
All right. Go ahead and power it off. Very important before you work on any electronic equipment that you power it off first, so you can see our power is off. If I turn on the light, the relays no longer come on. So we are now safe to start the process. The first thing we're going to do in the process, and we've already done this, is we removed all these jacks which serve the field sensors like temperature and humidity, weather station, your field devices. We'll be putting in all Link4 field devices, so those wires can be cut away and cleaned up and taken out of the enclosure, so you're not dealing with them during this process. All right. Very simple process. There's 8 screws on the front we're going to remove. We're just going to take those screws out. So far all we've needed to do this is a Phillips head screwdriver. We'll need a couple other tools, but very minimal. Okay, we'll set those screws down there and we'll pull this plate off. This is a plug. We'll undo that plug and take the front panel and just set it off to the side. Then you're going to want to remove this plug here. This plug brings power to the controller and then the outputs that tie to all the relays. You'll see that everything is color coded here, so we know output 12 is black, white, and we'll be very easily be able to put the same output on the Pearl. We'll take this out. You just lift up on these little tabs, which they're old, so not the easiest to do, and disconnect that. Now we have to continue disconnecting the board from the device. So we'll have to get a 5/16. And that is not. Can you grab a 5/16 out of my bag, Carl? The yellow-handed screwdriver should have one. And we take the board out. Now the controller's been removed. And now we start the process of putting the Link4 controller in. Now the Link4 controller is a little bit longer. So we're going to have to relocate this power supply. Very easy to do. There's one Phillips screw here.
You can explain what that is.
this is the 24 volt transformer that feeds 24 volts to the control system. So this will be used to supply 24 volts to these relays, and it will not power the Pearl. We'll have a different power supply for that. So this brown wire should be your 24 volts AC. This orange wire is your 24 volt common. So we're going to plug in to verify that. Okay, you want to hold that on the common, Carl? So on that orange, then I will come to this brown, and we'll verify we have 26.8 volts. So that is our two 24 volt AC wires that we'll need. Okay, go ahead and unplug it again. Working. So now we'll go ahead and we'll clip this brown wire, and we'll clip this orange wire. This brown wire right here, and we'll clip this orange wire right here. This is your 24 volt common. Okay. Then you have your output wires, starting with the white, then the black, then the tan, on and on. You see this is output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we will.
Which one is 1 and which one is 12?
So number 1 is the white one, and number 12 is this black one.
You see white one here
And the black one over here.
black is over there.
And then we're just going to go ahead and cut these free from the plug. All right, now it is free. So now we just have to take this and relocate it up out of the way of the Pearl. I'm going to hold this for a second, Carl. You can kind of see where the Pearl will sit in here. So there'll be clearance there. And we can even run it up just a little bit higher to where it's right at the top of the enclosure. We're going to need 2 screws and my screw gun. Okay, so we went back, we got a tool and a screw, and we're going to relocate the transformer and screw it in there. And screw it in there. And now the transformer is remounted. So it is still powered by 120 volt, the white and black wire. We didn't take those off. The brown wire is the 24 volts AC. We'll extend that in a little bit. This orange wire we're going to extend right now. So we'll strip that, the orange wire. The orange wire is a 24 volt AC common. Okay, that's the orange wire. And we'll bring this back up and tuck it away so it's clean and you don't see that. And then we'll go ahead and we'll extend the brown wire right now also. And we'll bring that one up over and around. Then these wires are no longer needed. You're just going to clip them and cap them off. The orange wire will come down and we'll remove it from that relay. So we need there's a little green screwdriver there, Carl. Or purple, that should work. Maybe. And we'll take the common out that we cut off from the relay and take that out. So then we're going to strip this new orange wire that we just extended from the transformer. And we're going to come down here to the relay. And we're going to fight to get it in there. Once we get it in there, we tighten the screw back up. And then we verify that we have a positive connection just by doing a little tug on the wire. And then we'll take that wire and we'll tuck these over on the side here out of the way. So now your 24 volts common is reconnected to all the relays. Yeah, so this orange wire here, up here, and we extended it around and we landed it on this relay. And that orange wire, if you look, is a little jumper that ties the common of all the relay coils together. Now we need to mount the pearl into the enclosure. So this screw might be in the way. So we're going to have to break that off. There's a big pair of linemen's in there. Now that we got pliers, we'll get the screw out of the way. And we'll just literally take that back and forth a couple times. And break it off flush with the panel. Then we'll line this up. I got a screw. All right, we're going to go ahead. The pearl is powered off of 24 volt DC. So this is a 24 volt DC power supply that'll power the pearl controller and the pearl sensors. And it just clips on the DIN rail. I hope that closes. Yep. You can see everything will fit in there nicely. Your display is in. Okay, this has already been wired with the 24 volt DC plug. So that will simply come up and around and plug into the pearl brain in the upper left-hand corner where the 24 volt jack is. And then it's now ready from that side to be powered. We will also have to connect it to this terminal, which is where the 120 volts comes in. So if I could get a black and a white wire with a little fork on it. So I am going to connect from the 120 volt coming into the panel in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to bring it over to the DC power supply so we're able to power the entire system up. I'm going to Okay. Now, as we got a little deeper into this, we found that these wires, while long enough to connect to the controllers, are not long enough to cross over each other. So the nice thing about Link 4 equipment is any output can be programmed as any device. So we'll put relay 1 on output 1 here, and it will still be whatever output 1 was before, but it will simply be on a different module, but it'll be labeled the same. It'll be labeled here. You'll see what relay it turns on, and it'll work. Now also, this module happens to be a 4-out digital and 4-out analog. This is 8-out digital. So we're going to swap those two modules on the bus. And it's a very simple process. There's two little orange tabs. You're going to pop up. Going to take a plug out of the way. You want to hold on to that. And we'll pop this one off of the DIN rail, and we'll pull it off. Hold that. And we'll do the same thing with the other side. Pull this off. When you're putting it back on the DIN rail, you want to push those orange tabs in.
Since you're here, explain what's that DIN rail?
Oh, sure. So this DIN rail is how the power and communications goes from the Pearl to the modules. So the power to the module comes on this rail. We call this the L bus. And the computer signal also goes from here to the output module via this L bus. So there's an L bus behind every one of these. Makes it very simple for wiring in the field, reduces the amount of wiring, and makes everything a lot quicker and easier and cleaner. And it just pops back on there. Same thing here. Again, the two orange tabs that we pulled out, we'll make sure they're pushed back in before we go to mount it. And we'll mount it up here and mount it on there. And now, if it wasn't for the L bus, I'd have to rewire everything. But because of the L bus, I can simply move stuff anywhere I want on this line. And also, let's say I had to replace an 8-output board. All I do is undo the plugs with the wires in them. I do the orange tabs, I pull it off, I put the new one in, I replug it up, and it's ready to go. So it makes it very simple. And then again, the flexibility, where with the flexibility of this controller, you can move them. You want one to be event, one can be event open to event closed. If you want 8 to be HF fans, it can be HF fans. If you want 5 to be HF fans, 5 can be HF fans. You can program anything any way you want, with the exception if you're doing an open and closed device like a vent or a shade, you always have to start with an odd output, so it's always odd, even, odd, even. You can't do even, odd. All right, so this is all set now. Now all we have to do is get things wired up. So again, these are plugs, so they come off, which makes it a little bit easier to wire because you're not sitting there and trying to get the wire in the hole back there. So it's very simple to do. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll go ahead and we'll strip those. And you'll see that there's a number and a minus. The minus carries the 24 volts from output to output, while the actual number is the relay output. So we have 1, we have 2. Okay, once I get this done, I come up here, I line it up, and I plug it in. And then I do the same thing with the other side. Again, now we have 5, 6, 7, and 8. Same thing. Now I also have to tie 24 volts to these outputs. If you remember before, we extended the brown wire, which was the 24 volt wire. So we're going to go ahead and strip that. And because we're sharing the 24 volts through all of the outputs, 1 through 8 and 1 through 4 over here, we only need to bring that in to the terminal strip one time on any one of the minuses. In different applications, it would matter where you put it, but in this one, because we're putting 24 to all the relay outputs, any one of the minuses will do. So we'll come over here to the number 8 minus, we'll slide that in. We'll tighten it up. And we'll slide that plug into place. Make sure the plugs seat nice. Then we have 4 more to do, and that will be 1 through 4 over here. And we'll plug that in. All right, now we have everything wired up. We have power to the DC power supply. We have power to the AC transformer. We have our ground connected. So now, when you plug it in, everything should come on. Okay, you see the blue light come up on the Link 4 Pro right away. Now it'll take a minute while it's going through the boot process. And now it comes to a diagnostic screen. And this diagnostic screen gives you a lot of good information. And then it'll switch over and go to the actual home screen. The home screen will show you that it's 68.5 degrees in this warehouse. And it is 44.4% humidity. It's 12:45 p.m. on Wednesday, 4/16/2025. Okay, now we talked about the relays. Now would be by the switch. So 1 is 1. So if we go to on, 1 turns on 1. 8 turns on 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 12, 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all the relays are on in order. Right, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then this is 9, 10, 11, 12. Because it's an additional module, it's still 1 through 8. But when we label the equipment, it'll make more sense. All right, we do have one more sensor with us today that we have not plugged in yet. That sensor is also a communicating sensor. So this is a weather station, and this would go above the peak of your greenhouse by at least 5 feet. Okay, and this is going to measure with this black arm, it'll measure wind speed and wind direction. Measures outside light through this light sensor. It measures temperature and humidity with the temperature and humidity sensor. And then it measures rain with the rain sensor. So you get all the elements of what's going on outside, so you can protect your vents. You can know what's going on outside, see what's going on your property before you walk out in the morning, know how to dress. It's all right here. All visible on your phone, by the way, which will be part of another video. All right, so we're going to set this down on the ground so we can handle the cord. And again, this is a communicating device. So instead of having hardwired, some of the older weather stations had a lot of wires that you had to land on the controller. This, again, just like the temperature and humidity sensor before, you have power, black and red, and then you have white, green, and a bare shield, which is your communication. It's also very important that you use the right wire. You don't have to purchase it from Link 4. However, you do need to use a 22 two-pair stranded, twisted wire. Very important. If you don't do that, we will not guarantee the operation of the communications. So this has to plug in. Again, we have to plug it into 24 volts, and we have to plug it into communications. Now, down here, we have the temperature and humidity sensor plugged in here. So I'm going to move the temperature and humidity sensor so I can open up this 24 volt jack and land the weather station on COM2. So I'm going to unplug this from here. Go ahead and hold this for a second. And I'm going to unplug this power from here. And you'll see that on the top of each of these modules, you also have the ability to plug this sensor in. So we'll go ahead and we'll plug the power in. And then we'll plug the communication in. And the sensor's reading. Now we'll go ahead and this will plug into COM2. You can see on the, I don't know if you can see it in the video, the little light flashing on the communication chip. This is COM1, this is COM2. It's not flashing yet because it doesn't have any devices on that network yet. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug the weather station into COM2. And we're going to plug the other side into power. And now you can see that green light is starting to flash. And in a minute or two, you'll get outside temperature. There you go, 68.1. If you wanted to see other readings, you could push this right key. And then you see outside temp, outside humidity, wind direction, wind speed, and it's not raining. All right. At the end of the day, once all this is done, you'll want to clean up all this wiring, tug it into the wiring trough. And then very important that these cables come through the holes. There's knockouts on the bottom of the Wadsworth controller that you bring those wires through those knockouts. Do not run them through the same one that you run the power through. Run them through a different one. That's why I have them outside. I didn't want to put additional holes in this panel because I'm not sure how you're going to use it yet. So, but in the future, that's what you would do is you would knock out these holes and run these wires up through those holes. All right?
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, this controller has the ability to be on the internet. Okay? So this is great. You can come in your greenhouse and do this, but it's even better when you can grab your phone while you're sitting in your rocking chair at night and see how your greenhouse is doing. Get temperature alerts, get alarms, make changes. Very easy from anywhere in the world, actually. So this is a Wi-Fi device made by Brostrend. This is a Cat5 connection. This Cat5 connection will plug in to the controller. And this we'll have to plug into the power cord. So when you plug the bros trend will go to a solid blue, and then you'll plug this cable into the controller. You can see if I unplug it, the green light goes off. And these two lights stop flashing up here. If I plug it back in, the one light starts flashing. It'll try and connect to the cloud. It is now connected. So it's that simple to connect it to the cloud. We pre-set up cloud accounts for everybody before a controller ships out to the field. So when you get it, there'll be an account set up. You'll have a password. You'll just have to go in and modify your password to protect your device. Again, all these cables that we have here are not installed properly. They would go up through the knockouts for more permanent. So this is how it would look when it's done. We'll go ahead and unplug these to get these out of the way. So all of these would be normally coming up through the bottom. We'll move all of those out of the way. And then we'll just close the cabinet. And you see your controller right through. You can see all your set points very clearly. You can see what's going on. Makes it very easy to use. Again, same enclosure, same interface devices, just 21st century control, and the ability to see it on the internet and the cloud. And because it is modular design, it's very affordable to get into.
And then a day